What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Gamer Credits. This is going to be season 2, level 5. Let's introduce the players. Player 1, BP.
Yo, what up, man? I heard a struggle for a little bit, man, when you said level 5, but it's all good.
Was there struggle?
A little bit. It's like level 5. You had to do like a quick check in your head.
Hey, man, got to make sure the numbers are numbering right. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with making sure the numbers come up right.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir. Speaking of numbers, we got player 2, Captain Starchild. Almost said BP again.
Speaking of numbers, how do I relate to that? But how's everybody doing?
Well, because you're player 2.
I thought you trying to call out my age, but I get it now. Yeah, okay, cool.
Wow. Alrighty. And then, of course, player number 3, it's your boy, Kid Dream.
this is going well. This is starting off really well.
It is. Definitely, definitely. So, does anybody have a gaming moment of the week?
Oh, you know what? I did, and there it went. Hold on. Let me
Wow,
try to get
okay.
it back. Well, sorry, you
Alright.
got something? Because I still gotta get mine together.
Nah, I just finally got my PS5 back, so maybe I might start having some gaming moments down the line.
Okay, that's always
Yeah.
fun.
So
So about you, kid?
No Overwatch tales, no update on how the PS5 is working?
Um, well, I got a actual refurbished PS5. They replaced the one I sent back. Of course, they didn't tell me. I just had to find out by looking at the serial numbers and realize it's totally different systems from what I had
Nice, nice.
before. So I guess they admitted to the first one was a lemon. Um, but no, basically I'm just playing Overwatch, and on the PS5, I can say that the game is a lot smoother than it was on the Switch. So, because
Oh, God.
I was playing it on the Switch as a backup for a while, and that was not a great experience. But I understand that you can do but so much on that handheld.
Yeah,
Um,
you gave it your best.
I gave it my best, man, and I actually got a little used to the control. It got to the point where I was able to compensate a lot and get a good experience out of it. So
Well, that's good, that's good, okay.
yeah.
That's what's up.
Might be the only person to say that about that, Switch Overwatch version, but it's all good. It's all good.
That's funny.
All
Um,
right. Well, it's your kid.
so, you guys will probably be disappointed with me.
Always, but continue.
Wow.
Oh, yikes.
So, I've still been playing my good old Final Fantasy 14, but in the meantime, one of my friends actually messaged me the other day. Long story short, I got dragged back into classic World of Warcraft, so been playing a little bit of that.
What?
I would not be
Yeah,
disappointed in you on that. That's pretty awesome. Now,
yeah.
are you
So,
going to
That's
become
interesting.
addicted to it to the point where we won't hear from you for a couple months, or you're okay?
oh no, 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 no. Yeah, it's just to play with them and just because they already kind of were playing it and had got to about the 20s, level 20 or so. But it got to the point where they were trying to run a dungeon, and classic WoW didn't have the whole looking for group feature. So if you wanted to
Ah,
party, you had to talk to people, which is crazy to think about. You had to find that party. The game wouldn't do it for you, and so basically the problem they were running into was they couldn't find a healer. So they were like really weren't able to progress in the game, and so that's when they called me up and they were like, "Yo, did you want to hop in? And then, we'll make a new character with you to level you up. So that way we can kind of get you to our level and kind of go from there." And so um, we've been playing that the past few days and it's been a blast. It's been a blast.
Hey,
cool.
as long as you're having fun.
that
Yeah.
And
I
and it,
am. That I am.
and again, if you end up missing, we won't have to worry. We know where you at. So okay, cool.
Yep. In World of Warcraft.
Nice, nice. All right.
What about you, PP?
Well, I mean, mine's is probably be more negative. As of today, I'm still not able to access GTA Online, so that's fun.
Okay. All right.
Wait,
Yeah.
I thought
Yes.
that the top tier department was going to reach out to you.
They did, but they still haven't got back to me because they did say it was going to take a minute for them to, I guess, research or investigate. But I guess the thing about it is I don't believe that I'm the only one having that issue because I actually checked some of the online forums and there have been a decent amount of people coming forward saying the same thing, like they haven't been able to access it for like weeks or like at least several days or something like that. So there's some kind of stuff going on. Not
You
sure what.
you think it has everything? Well, not everything. Has something to do with the PS5 conversion of the game, where you can take your characters from 4 to 5, and the ones who've done so may be the ones being impacted the most.
No, because it's not really consistent with those who did the same thing, but they can still access it, even to this day. So
Ah,
I don't know. I really wish I knew, but yeah. Uh, but I wouldn't really sweating it too much. I actually went and played a little more of Ghost of Tsushima Legends,
Okay, all right.
and now the funny thing about that though is I guess apparently there's this thing now where if you're getting too many kills, people just leave the game now.
oh,
Uh, yeah, it was
Really?
just really yeah, like it was just strange. Like last few games I played, it's like every time, um, I would get like good decent amount of kills. I'm pretty good at the game, but
pretty
like I don't
good.
do it. Well, yeah, but I mean I don't do it just for that. Like, oh look, I'm getting all the kills. Like I just do it to get the round over with. Like the survival mode
Wait.
over with. Because I don't want to
Yeah.
be in there for like 30, 40 minutes.
Yes.
But like, but like I noticed that last couple games I go in there and I get to like 100 within 100 kills within like I guess the first 6 rounds or within the first 6 waves, people just start leaving.
I think they probably aren't being able to kill people, so they're like, "Why am I in here?"
Yeah, that's a good point. It may be, but it was just interesting because like what I typically do is I don't try to purposely go and like go off in every section to get the kills. What I try to do is just like stay to a certain area that I believe that a wave's coming into to go ahead and cut it short. And then
Yeah.
if the other players need assistance or it looks like they need assistance, then I'll come over and kind of help just a little bit out. But yeah, I don't know. Either that or something's going on about me where people are like, that guy. Yeah, just go ahead and leave.
Yeah, don't play with him. Nobody wants
Yeah.
to play with him.
I was
Jesus,
kind
man.
of drawing that conclusion, man, but I was like, I don't know. It sounds a little paranoid.
Wouldn't that be
Now,
something though?
but
It
here's
would
the
be. It'd be
thing,
funny to me.
BP. I played with you on that game online, and I can honestly say that your skill level is probably at the max that the game can even support. I think at some point you would break the game. So,
I mean, but there's plenty of other people even better than that. So,
oh,
but
okay.
they still have people like, sticking around. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they got some stories on that as well, but who knows? Might have to find a forum and ask that question. So, but
Oh,
anyway, yeah, man. By the way, we need to get in there and live stream, man. Y'all down?
Um, I think I'm scheduled for plastic surgery next year. So after that, we can look
surgery.
into it. Hey man.
Well, we can
Not
live stream with just our voices. We don't have to show our
yeah,
face.
not
So
all live streams are face
yeah.
cam.
Oh man, so we're not talking about OnlyFans. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, cool. Yeah, let's
Oh, I
do
mean,
that.
what? Oh, I mean,
Whoa.
look, man, look now. I mean, I'm not opposed to making money now. If you wanna, so if you want to go some kind of
Whoa.
route with that, then we can open the discussion up for it.
All righty then. Well, on that note, if you guys really want to make some money, I'll tell you the secret to doing it. Just have a beloved franchise, put it on mobile, and then monetize it all to hell.
Oh,
Like,
such a thing as this, you say?
actually, I think so. There's this new little small game. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called Diablo Immortal. You guys might not have phones. You might not have a
Yeah, I had
phone.
to check real quick to see if my phone was on me. Matter of fact.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
remember
game.
that.
It actually finally released the other week last week, and that people quickly discovered that this is really, really pay to win. And somebody actually did the numbers, did the math, mathing it up.
Hmm.
To completely max out your character would cost over $110,000.
Mm,
Mm, that's.
take out a mortgage just to go ahead and get the perfect character you want. All right.
I mean, that's sad. Sadly enough, that is the case.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you guys ready to go in on that, right?
I mean,
I'll keep
it's
everybody posted.
it sounds like a great investment. The returns might be worth it.
Hey man, don't give Activision ideas, okay? Activision Blizzard, don't give them ideas. All right,
All right, that's a good
it's
point.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy,
Oh,
man. But yeah, just go ahead.
I was gonna say, but don't worry, guys. If you don't want to spend that money, you can always play for free, and it'll take you about what was it, 10 years to do the
About a
same thing.
decade. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah. So
yeah. That's what some of the analysts out there are saying. That's crazy, man. That is really crazy.
So I'll see y'all in 10 years, I guess.
I mean, did you even have you tried it yet, or did you even look at it,
So
kid?
I
Because
did
I heard it's
actually.
good. Like I heard it's good. It's just been ruined by that whole monetization scheme.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. I do have it on my phone, and I have played about 30 minutes or so, not a whole lot, just a little bit. And
Mhm,
from what I played, it plays pretty well. It looks nice. The touchscreen controls for what they are being touchscreen are pretty good.
mhm,
If you like Diablo 3, it has pretty much all of those classes there in their play style transferred over to the phone. So it's more or less Diablo 3 on your phone, which isn't
right.
bad. It's actually pretty fun, but yeah, the monetization is a little crazy, just a little.
I
That's
mean,
wild, man. Like,
I just did the math in my head. So if I take
Right.
out half of the mortgage amount of 50,000 and
Yeah.
pay up front in the next 5 years, I can max out my character. So I can save a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah, see,
Yeah,
yeah.
you definitely could.
There we go.
that's wild,
You
man. I
definitely
tell you,
could.
man. Like, who needs a home? Who needs a college degree? I mean, like, who needs any of those things, right? Yeah, nah, man. You really want that Diablo Immortal in your life? That's really gonna make a difference.
Yeah, that's it's
So let's have a discussion about that, because we're no stranger to mobile games,
yeah.
having those types of egregious monetizations. But could we say this by far just has everything else beat out there in the market as far as monetization?
Nah,
Um,
see, oh, I'm sorry. I'll let you go, kid.
well, you can go ahead.
No, I was going to only say that I have not participated in mobile gaming. So for what I've done was like those little basic games that don't really want you to even upgrade anything. It was just random bejewels or something like that. But
Hmm.
Yeah.
what I've noticed is that they're not trying to capture the adults anymore. They no longer want the casual player. They're trying to drag PC and console gamers back to the mobile market and basically get the money easier from them in that platform than they did from the PCs and the consoles. Because
Yeah,
you can see mobile makes more or tons of more money than
It
most of the
does.
games on the consoles and the PCs. So they're targeting
absolutely.
console and PC players now.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely are, and, as you can see, they also added it to the PC as well, which again just kind of goes back on their word and everything. But it's kind of answer your question, BP. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say for sure because mobile is a interesting environment. I'll say when it comes to monetization.
Hmm.
And I'm sure there are some other games probably very similar to it. It's just sad to see again another beloved franchise and studio kind of go through this. You think of Diablo and the hype behind Diablo 3 and even now Diablo 4, just the fan base, and to see
Yeah.
it now kind of turn into this whole, this
Cash grab.
money. Yeah, pretty much. It's a little. That's I guess to me that's what makes it pretty aggravating and frustrating is that the brand behind it.
So I think you answered my next question because I was kind of thinking a lot about that, and because I think back to like you made the joke earlier about do you guys not have phones and stuff like that, and how
Yeah.
outrageous people felt that they were even doing a mobile version of Diablo, like because especially as a PC, gaming community for the most part for that game. So
Yeah.
I just remember there being so much. I mean, you had a few people here and there that were open minded and said, you know what, I'll give it a shot, but majority of people just weren't interested. Most of the fan base.
Oh yeah.
So so my question is, because what I find interesting is that what people's reaction, like, if you have people who either decided to give it a shot or who are still like, nah, I'm not interested in it, is this just their way of saying, is this just another way of, them kind of having fuel to their rage regarding Diablo Immortal just being a thing in the first place, just to be like, oh, see, this is what your scheme was the whole time was just to, you know, monetize it to hell and back, as opposed to just spending more time and effort putting it on PC, instead.
I see. Here's my thing. It's very possible as a company they already factor in the response, and
Oh
maybe
yeah.
these are maybe smart people. They already pull the numbers or ran the numbers, and they can almost tell our reaction to things. We would purposely get online and post our outrage But behind closed doors, people gonna play the game, and some people gonna
Mhm.
get addicted to it, and they're gonna end up spending
Yeah.
the money to get those maxed out, or whatever,
That they
outfits
will.
or weapons or whatever they're gonna get. So they
Mhm.
understand that the rage is gonna be online, it's gonna look massive, but secretly they're gonna look at the actual numbers of how many people are gonna be spending money. And they're not worried. They already ran the numbers. They already know that the PR gonna sound bad, but it's not gonna be bad.
So in the grand scheme of things, you would say that this is just more of their ploy of saying, "Hey, we know they're going to spend the money and controversy sells," as opposed to them just intentionally just trying to make the community mad.
Bingo.
Yeah. Okay. Which is it's easy to see that though. It's just interesting for me because, like I said, I go back and I see all these people who were just so just not feeling it, and then now the same people come forward and they're complaining about it. Which I'm not saying that they shouldn't complain because honestly, I mean, that the idea of it being so much money to really fully level up and enjoy the end game
Yeah.
is ridiculous. I think we all can agree to that. But I just feel like it's just interesting that people have so much vitriol towards it when there wasn't really a lot of interest in it. So my whole thing was,
Correct.
is the vitriol coming more from that community that was not wanting to accept it, or is it just coming from people who are just either willing to give it a shot or who just never really gotten to Diablo before and saw Immortal as a gateway to try it and give it a shot. Like I'm just trying to kind of figure that out, like where it's at
Yeah.
actually coming into play.
To me, I think it's kind of like the icing on the cake because, obviously I can't speak for everybody, but like for me personally, I was a little disappointed when I saw the announcement. I was like, oh, okay, Diablo Immortal. I'd rather just get Diablo 4, but fine, whatever. Separate teams. It's not impacting Diablo 4. It is what it is.
Hmm.
So, I kind of always had my eye on it. Actually, recently, a couple months ago, I was like, where is Diablo Immortal? Because I was kind of like looking forward to it. Like, hey, Diablo on my phone. That sounds kind of fun.
Right.
And so I was like, when is it coming out? And there was no news. And so I think it's like I said, the icing on the cake where, people were already upset about it, but they were like, okay, fine, it's Diablo, let's check it out. Maybe it'll be good, maybe they might surprise us. And so then they got it and they saw, oh,
Mm,
I have
yeah.
to spend how much or play for how long to max out my character? What? And so it was like that last straw that was like, I mean, come on now. Like, you already disappointed us with this is what we got when we wanted something else. And then now you're telling me it's just completely pay to win as well. Like, are you serious?
Got you. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. It makes sense. So, but yeah, it's just unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate, man.
Uh,
Activision, I mean, getting everything that's going on with the company, and I mean,
yeah.
just all the negative, like news and just everything coming about that company, and just this would you would think be the last thing that they would go for, but I guess maybe that grease just runs too deep.
Something, man, because I think kind of also to go to your previous point, I think what they're counting on is, maybe not a lot of people spending money, but a small amount. But those small amount of people are going to be the ones who spend over
Yeah.
100,000 to max out the
Maxing out
character.
their credit cards and doing
Yeah,
some very crazy things
Hmm.
because they know that some of these games are going to trigger people's addictions.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
they know this again, and it's
And,
sad. It's sad that
it is.
a
yeah.
gaming company like this is like basically doing purgatorial. That ain't the word I want to use. Um, well, whatever they're doing, they're
Predatory. Well,
targeting. Yeah,
predatory
there you go.
practice.
Predatory. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Practices. Yeah, I was going there. Yeah, they're targeting their own fan base and their own gaming base. And it's like before in my day as a kid, I remember during Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah, they use the ads and the commercials to target me as a kid to buy things. I get that. I know this is America, capitalism, but at the same time in a game that you're trying to have fun and playing, you shouldn't have to be, stopped from having fun if you don't have the money to afford it. Like it should not be that way. And this game is built on, I guess, advancing your character. And the way that you're going to do it in a way where it feels fun is going to be in increments that's pretty fast. And the only way that will meet your goal of having fun is to spend money. And again, it's psychological, it's dirty tactics, and that company just needs to just shut down.
Oh God.
I mean, it does because
Jeez.
this ain't gonna be the last time trying this. They're gonna keep getting better at trying to dodge the law. They're gonna just keep trying.
Well, do you think that's the case? Going to continue to be the case when Microsoft finalizes the acquisition deal?
Microsoft is horrible too as a company. I'm sorry, Microsoft. I'm saying, I'm saying that as in
Oh,
this as a company, not their game and their console.
Hey,
But
to the
yeah, I just think that they are not going to lessen the impact of profits. If they see that model working, they're gonna keep it.
interesting.
uh,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I I think upper management needs to go. I wouldn't say the whole company needs to be shut down because there is a lot of talented individuals within it itself. I just
Good
think the
point.
upper management just needs to. They just need to go. All the
Yeah, the
ki-
yeah, the direction or the culture of it, yeah, definitely needs to be
yeah,
overhauled.
and it's time. Um,
Agreed.
but another good thing happened the other day last week. Well, exciting thing I should say anyway, and that was Sony State of Play, and we got a bunch of big announcements. And I don't think we're gonna go over every little detail here, but I definitely wanted to kind of touch on some of the highlights.
Mhm.
Our highlights, and I think a great place to start was where they started, Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah, yeah, how about that, man? It looked really good, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I mean, I was the first kind of person to not first person or anything like that, but, I kind of I still stand by my whole thing of wanting them to do Code Veronica first as a remake because I really like that game, and I know there's several other people out there who kind of would feel the same. But from what I saw of Resident Evil 4, I mean that the remake it looks like really good from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
So I'm undoubtedly very curious like about how that's going to turn out.
Can I
Yeah.
play devil's advocate for a second for that game because I'm
By all
excited
means,
for it?
go ahead.
But here's my only critique. Is this game going to be still cross-platform where it still be running on the PS4 and any older system and also the PS5 and the new Xbox, or is it strictly for the current gen consoles?
Um,
Did
I
they
don't know
list
if we got
that?
that. Go ahead, kid.
I was gonna say I don't know if they listed the
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't get the detail yet, right?
All right, so if that's the case, I have a very bad suspicion that this is going to still be released on the later gen consoles. So I think the game itself was not built exclusively for the next gen consoles. So it looks great. The game looks great, but I don't think it's pushing anything. And I was hoping that for a remake on a next gen console that it was going to look, I mean, just like whatever a next gen game should look, but this still looks like it can run
oh,
on the
wait.
last gen to me.
Okay, so it looks like it will be on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. So
All
it
right,
looks
so
like it would not be.
if it's not, then I still don't think they. And here's the thing: that was just a trailer. I'm hoping they would show more, but it did not look like it was pushing anything. But it still looked great.
So I wonder if this marks the moment where they're going to actually really start focusing more on the current gen instead of previous ones like the PS4 and Xbox One and all that.
You
Yeah,
would think so? It's been
Just going
almost
forward with the
2 years.
game release. Yeah, but I mean, I knew
yeah,
that the hesitation was there given the uh, difficulty in obtaining the current gen consoles. But I
yeah,
figured at some point they would have to look at, all right, we need to really start focusing more on what we got right now and not,
yeah.
yeah,
I definitely agree with that. I think it's as we're getting further and further into this new generation, it's definitely time, especially when you start looking at this is a game coming out next year as well.
Hmm.
right,
Obviously, if it was like today, I would say, okay, maybe you need a release on last gen as well. But this isn't until like March of next year. So I definitely think it's important that publishers and companies start exclusively making content for the newest system, so we can really see what these systems can do, and not have to
right.
worry about well, they got to make it for previous and current and all this and that. Like, nah, just give me the new stuff. Like it's
Yeah, give people a reason to wait 8 years to get a PS5. Give us a reason.
there you go, there you go.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, but it looked good. It looked good. I was
yes,
kind of and I don't mean to go forward so fast from it. Did you have anything about it, kid, that you specifically that stuck out specifically for you for the reveal of it?
just I was you should I wish you would have saw my face. I was like, Leon, hey, and then I I was a little disappointed. I guess because I'm just in the meme culture. They kind of briefly tease Ashley in the back and all that good stuff. and
Mhm.
I just in my head, I just wanted her to go, "Leon!" I
Yeah, they
just
should
wanted to hear it.
they missed the opportunity on that. But I guess given the remake, yeah, they because it seemed to have a more sinister, darker tone to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So,
wouldn't have fit, but
yeah.
I'm excited. It looked nice. I love Resident Evil 4, definitely a phenomenal game,
Mhm.
and I'm excited to see what they do, and I guess real quick before we proceed to the next one, just real quick, does do you guys think the next remake, I if they do make another Resident Evil remake, you think they're gonna go to 5 next or what?
Oh, man. I really want them to do Veronica, man, Code Veronica. Like, I don't know who I had to talk to at Capcom, but I'm like, "Please make this happen, man." That was one of my favorite Resident Evil games of all time, like, no lie. So, I mean, but I wouldn't put it outside of the realm of them doing the 5, I'm sorry, Resident Evil 5 remake. Just because
Mhm.
it was I mean, it was massively I mean, yeah, it had its issues, right? But
Yeah.
it still was massively popular. I mean, you already know conversations about that. "Shove her,"
Yes.
"Hurry,"
Yes.
like, you know what I mean? The spamming, so, like, it's a strong possibility, man, especially considering I mean, because it's pretty safe to say that a remake of Resident Evil 4 is gonna do really well.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of how it comes out, it's going to sell like crazy.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
so I
So
think what
I was going to ask, is it necessary for us to keep wanting more remakes, or can we ask for just a whole new game?
Why
well,
not both?
yeah, because that's what they seem to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, we got what was it last year? Resident Evil Village,
Mhm. Yeah,
which
because
was
that
which
was
was
literally after what, the remake of 3? Resident Evil
uh
3, I think?
yeah. Yeah, and so I mean, I think BP and I can both agree that game was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing title.
Oh, yeah.
And so I honestly I kind of like their approach. I like how they're going back and remaking, the classics that were big hits,
Mhm.
that people love and adore. But then, as of lately, we're still getting new titles. We got Seven, we got Village, um, our yeah, Seven Village because Village was eight. And I mean, not to go into spoilers, but the end of Village really set the door open for more. A 9, 10 even down the
Yeah, the
road.
continuation, yep.
So
Nice, nice,
honestly,
nice.
I I'm all for this approach of give me these remakes every other year or so, and then give me a new entry every couple of years, please.
Okay.
You brought up something just then, kid. I was always kinda thinking like, "Man, are they ever gonna wrap up Resident Evil?" Like, the story at least. Because I mean,
Gotta-
obviously, the franchise is really popular, and they wanna keep it going
yeah.
as long as possible, but I
Oh
just
yeah.
think about content in regards to the story itself, like, it's like, how
I
much more
mean,
can they go with it with those
it's.
characters, man? I was just curious.
I was gonna say it's the Dragon Ball of the horror gaming industry. Man. It's
Yeah.
It's actually not an
Well,
overstatement.
yeah.
yeah. As long as it keeps printing money for them, I think they'll keep turning them
They'll find
out,
some
and
kind of way,
then
right?
yeah, and then based off their new approach, hey, when maybe they can't make any more new numbered titles, maybe 5, 10 years from now, remake the remakes.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Yes, I can see that happening, actually. I can absolutely see that happening.
10 years from now, we get Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah. Yep. And as much as people roll
Uh,
their eyes, I bet you they'll still end up playing it. Because I know I
Probably.
did that. I know I did that. I was like, "Oh, really? We're doing this? Come on, man. Just bring a new Resident Evil. All right, you know what? Let me go ahead and check this out."
And
So,
then I don't know if you were gonna just about to mention this, but another big game that they showed off was the Callisto Protocol. I think is what it's called.
Hmm.
yes.
Callisto Protocol, whatever.
Yes. That looked
The new
really
horror game.
yes. Yeah. Because
Oh,
I know we talked about it a little bit off episode, man, but yeah, that thing looks like it's gonna be mad terrifying and sinister.
bro, I was like, "Yo, this looks scary as I don't know what." I was like,
Man.
"Dude."
Yeah, I was
And
so ready to sign up after that.
yeah, and this is brought to us by the original developers of Dead Space, and I mean, you can see it in the trailer.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely has that vibe because that's why I kept almost mistaking it for every single time. Like,
Yeah,
oh, this is Dead Space. It's Dead Space. Whoa, whoa, hold on, this ain't Dead Space. Looks so
yeah.
much like it. And it just dawned on me, like when we had that discussion, like, oh yeah, it's by the same creators of it. So I was like, okay, that makes sense.
And what's going to be really interesting is that comes out December of this year, which is great, incredible, amazing. I'm excited.
Mhm.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, the following month, January, the Dead Space remake comes out.
Oh man, I didn't even know that. Man, that's
So
good.
EA needs to, well, it's great for us, the players, and I'm excited for both. But I mean, EA better make sure this is it because if Callisto Protocol does great,
Mhm.
yeah, oh man, I don't know, man. People are gonna be pissed if Dead Space doesn't live up to the hype of the remake. You know?
Well, you know, and it's funny you bring up an interesting point because it's like, because I mean, it's Dead Space is Dead Space, right? So the name
Yeah.
itself is going to probably,
Oh yeah.
guarantee some good sales. But you
Yeah.
bring up a good point about the Callisto Protocol. It's like if it indeed is phenomenal in comparison to Dead Space, I mean, where would that leave Dead Space? Because the thing about it is Dead Space is already a remake as as we see it now coming out.
Uh huh.
So, and people have already experienced that. So it's kind of like if the Callisto is knocking it out the box, then Dead Space Remake's kind of like, eh, yeah, that might be some
Yeah.
serious trouble.
I can agree with that because I think both games might offer a different angle. So people might still buy both games because it's going to be hopefully different types of play types. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just wondering about the sustainability of this because, like I said, it's a remake. It's not necessarily a new venture or direction or anything. The
Correct.
Callisto is
Yeah. It's not
the
Dead Space
newer,
4.
yeah,
Mhm.
Callisto is a newer thing. You know what I mean? So it just kind of
Yeah.
makes me wonder. And
I
yeah,
will say. Oh, go
mhm.
ahead.
No, 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 that was it. Not just good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, obviously they didn't show a whole lot of gameplay in the trailer. I, I hope the shooting in third person action combat it does hold up because it did look a little, I don't say rough, but
Mhm,
the shot that did show didn't seem too amazing. I would say, what really
mhm.
stole me was the atmosphere, the the enemies,
The
just the whole
shattering.
tension.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so I hope the gameplay is good as well, but
Mhm.
we'll have to just kind of wait and see on that.
Yeah. Well, no, I did kind of notice a little bit of, I don't want to say it wasn't polished or anything because obviously it's still in works, but
Yeah,
um, and that's what I was kind of wondering in my mind was that more intentional, just given the environment, were they trying to go for more of a gritty outlook? Um,
yeah.
so,
Okay.
but I guess only time will tell. I mean,
Hey,
we'll see how it goes. But you're so right. It has to be, it can't just be like beautiful to look at for us. It's got to have all the mechanics and like sound and
yeah.
Hmm.
animations on point. So yeah.
So I kind of chuckled when I was watching the state of play because yeah, okay, they didn't fully lie to us. Sony is who is I'm mentioning, but it was kind of interesting because they did show more gameplay in another trailer of that game called Stray about the cat.
Yeah. I
I
do
saw
want
a
to get
little
that
bit of
game.
that. Mhm.
Yeah, it looks good. I definitely plan on checking it out because I just like the vibe and atmosphere of it. It looks really really interesting. But it was, I don't know if you guys remember, at the end of it they gave a release date, which it comes out in July, which I'm excited for. But if you are the, what's the second tier, PlayStation Plus Extra, I think is what it is.
Mhm.
The second and third tier, if you are subscribed to that version of PlayStation Plus, then you get it day one. And I was just kind of
I
scratching my head.
saw
I was
that.
like,
Yeah.
"But Tony, didn't you just say you can't?" And I mean, you couldn't launch games day one, but I was like, well, I guess they mentioned, big first party games they
Yeah.
couldn't do it and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So that's their kind of caveat. But I just found it funny. I was like, oh, so you can launch this day one, but not God of War, but not Spider Man. Like, okay, I see you, Sony.
Yeah. It was interesting. I mean, and I'm wondering because to your point, I'm wondering if there's kind of a thing because they're looking at it like, we don't expect it to really sell as much,
Yeah,
because right now it's just kind of got visuals going for it that people are maybe mildly interested in.
Actually, the
So maybe
mystery is what
in the
it has
mystery too,
going for it to me
right?
because
But
yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking like in terms of, because Sony's all about the AAA release, like
Oh
that
yes.
income. So like, I'm just wondering because of that, not necessarily reaching that height, maybe that's their way of saying, well, maybe that's a way of meeting the middle ground of enticement. Like we can get people in that plan that, otherwise wouldn't have really bought the game outright. Now they can say, oh, well, I'm going to be part of that tier anyway. I'm going to gain access to it and check it out. So, you
yeah.
know what I mean? I'm wondering if that's been more of the selling point, so which I hope it doesn't really end up being more harm to the developer of it, because I'm thinking it's like an indie developer, right? That's associated with PlayStation that's
I
doing it,
believe
or is it?
so.
Yeah, so I'm just hoping that because I know like I heard stories with Oddworld
Yeah,
and it was,
yeah.
yeah, and how that kinda didn't work out so well for the developer, so I'm just hoping it's not like a repeat.
Yeah, but I mean, and to kind of address both, like the Oddworld situation, basically, kind of what happened was the creator or director or something like that,
Yeah.
kind of came out and was kind of upset with Sony because they felt like it would've I think it got like 1,000,000 or something downloads or something
Mhm.
like that, and basically they were upset because, they thought it would've done more. They wanted more, money from it because I think they, were entitled to more or whatnot, and, you know, we could speculate and theorize and all this and that, but
Right.
I do believe that because it was on PlayStation Plus, it got more downloads than it would have gotten without PlayStation Plus. Like
Without it.
myself personally, I did download it because it was on PlayStation Plus. Now, to
Mhm.
be fair, I haven't played it yet,
Right.
but I did download it. Whereas if I had to buy it for even $20, I probably wouldn't have. And
Yeah,
I
and given
think
everything else going on, right?
yeah, and I think the same thing here kinda with Stray, like, it is something I'm interested in, and I do wanna check it out. Would I have bought it day one? I can't say for certain, but
Sure.
knowing
Depends on the
that
price.
yeah, it depends on the price, and, but now that you're saying, "Hey, it's in this extra tier of PlayStation Plus,"
Right.
that I'm more willing to upgrade my PlayStation Plus and download it rather than just outright buy it because then I know I get more value with everything else on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's actually fair because that kind of goes back into our previous conversation from another episode about them doing that and how much traffic it would generate with people saying, "Hey, you know what? I wasn't going to pay this amount for it, but now that you mentioned this part of the tier, hey, great, I'm going to go ahead and sign up for that tier." So, kind of goes back to that whole idea of just being a benefit for their subscription plans as
Yeah.
opposed to a detriment.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, it might help it. Hopefully, I'll say, what I was thinking. The same thing with Odd World is, listen, you got to just be careful how you negotiate your contract, man. And so
That's a very good point.
hopefully they negotiate it well, and either way, Stray will come out on top with the money. But it's hard to say for sure, for sure. But
Right.
I just found that interesting that it was coming to PlayStation Plus. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Definitely
also
stay
got
tuned on that.
yeah, we also got a lot of PSVR 2 game announcements, and I'm not gonna lie, fellas, kinda makes me wanna buy a PlayStation VR.
Oh, it has to be the VR too.
Well, yeah, the VR
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, because they showed a little bit of it with the Resident Evil Village, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, I'm not gonna
that
lie, it did look, yeah, it did look really interesting to try it out and do it. I mean, I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to see more DLC that they were talking
yeah,
about with the
yeah,
Village, but between that and then Horizon, right? They're doing Horizon with
yeah, oh my
yeah,
god, that Horizon
VR2.
game looks pretty dope, man. I saw
Yeah.
that, I was like, "Ooh." Not
It look-
only visually does it look good, but the gameplay, the whole bow and arrow concept with the VR, I think could work really, really well.
Yeah, if they manage to pull that off with the bow and arrow, man, I mean, can you imagine? I think that's
Uh,
the selling point alone, just just to feel the
yeah,
feeling of have to draw a bow and arrow like that, man. I mean, come on.
yes.
I
And
mean,
then,
I've
go ahead.
I was just saying that I've never actually done VR, but just imagine the idea when you put that headset on and you're standing in that world. I just think that should be amazing. Like that
Yes.
alone, like in
Yeah.
the bowl, yeah. But it's like, wow, you're in this world that looks amazing on the
Mhm.
TV, but now you're in it. I can't
Yeah,
wait. I might actually give VR too because they probably got better with the technology, and it might be worth the money now.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely looks interesting. And then that, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 2 or whatever, Redemption.
I missed that actually. What was
I
that? Was
didn't
that like
see
later
that one
on?
either.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
missed that. It must have
That
been a.
that was another one of the VR ones.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
it's a sequel. The original, actually looks really, really good and has gotten pretty good reviews as well. It's a
Hmm.
VR game. I've actually wanted to play it for quite some time now. So, which makes you again excited for the VR too, because here's a sequel coming out for that, and I think that even comes out pretty soon as well. So the VR, I ain't gonna lie, they show a couple of VR games, and pretty much every single one of them was looked incredible.
Hmm.
Yeah, shows they're not messing around, man. They're really putting a lot of into it. Because I mean, the previous VR wasn't bad. It was pretty decent. So just imagine what they're gonna do with the VR too.
Yes, I am absolutely, absolutely excited. Um,
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, you can go ahead.
No, I thought you was gonna dive into I guess what's the next thing that uh,
Well,
they had
before
showed?
we dive into the next topic, no one
Well, not
wants
to that
to.
next topic, but
Oh,
like the Street Fighter, for example. Like,
Yeah, it's
if
okay.
we're
actually
gonna start talking about
that's the next
that.
one I was gonna think about. Yeah,
Uh,
Street Fighter 6 was announced.
Yeah, I was just curious on y'all's feelings and thought about it. Like, do y'all still find yourselves hyped about Street Fighter at this point? Street Fighter releases, or
the game looks great, but I played enough Street Fighter. This it
let me tell
looks
you why I'm laughing.
it's yeah.
Because I feel the same way. Like no disrespect to Street Fighter fans out there. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that has a special place in your heart, along with Tekken and other fighters like that. But it's like you said, Star. I mean, it's Street Fighter. Like, what else? I don't know. Like, I just had this feeling of what else could you really do with it other than just make it look visually stunning.
And they are doing that. The game looks pretty nice. I just think that if there's no additional gimmick to make the
Right.
fighting game stand out, I don't see a purpose to it. But it's a great looking game. I'm just not as excited as I should be because
Mhm.
I'm a fan of Street Fighter, but I played enough
Yeah.
for now.
And I know I'm probably not being fair against it because I just look at it from a standpoint of, I've been through the Marvel versus Capcom times, and it's just so fast paced, and there's so much going on screen, and then you just kind of go back to the Street Fighter kind of tradition, and for me at least, it's just like, I'm just kind of beyond that. It's almost like I kind of liken it to like watching The Simpsons, and then you watch Family Guy, and then you go back to The Simpsons, and you're like, man, I got mad respect for The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons. Anybody who knows me knows that, but it's just like it's kind of hard to go back after that.
I agree
Yeah.
with you. Yeah,
Yeah,
but who knows?
yeah, not huge into fighting games, so I was like, "Oh, that looks pretty cool." It's probably not something I'm gonna check out. I don't think I've ever purchased a Street Fighter game before. I've played them, I've dabbled in them.
Wait, never, never, ever?
Man, it sounds like
Not Street
Outcast.
Fighter. I know.
My bad. Yeah, don't sue me,
Huh.
Outcast. I'm sorry.
Oh God. Um,
That was not
but
intended that way.
to kind of address Star's question about what's new, what's the gimmick. They did kind of show off like not necessarily open world, but it looks like you can kind of explore this kind of city area, and I
That's a good point. It looked like it was
uh,
like a career type thing where you can build
yeah,
your character's career in the street fighting thing, I
yeah.
guess.
And
Gotcha.
that looked kind of interesting. I want to see more details and information about it, and that could be kind of fun to mess around in if it is kind of like what Star just said, like create your own fighter, build them up, and you go around the city, do quests. There's a story, stuff like that. Then if they have a mode like that in there and it's on PlayStation Plus or Game Pass, hey, I might check it out. But
I
I've never really purchased Street Fighter games before.
I was just thinking about like adding it to like a one of those subscription based plans because
Hey,
I'm like
Hmm.
maybe that can kind
nice.
of. I mean, maybe they may not feel that way because I know it's Street Fighter and it's still gonna sell, but I don't know. I'm just kind of curious as to how the sales are gonna turn out for it.
But
So I just don't talk to a lot of people anymore that really talks or goes into it anymore as far as excitement. Like they talk about it
yeah.
as kind of like an afterthought, like, oh yeah, Street Fighter, the new Street Fighter's coming out. Cool. It's just-
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, more or less.
yeah.
so we'll see though.
Uh, Before we get to the end of the presentation, was there anything else? Is there any other big thing or announcement that
There
kind
was
of did?
there was that one game called Seasons. I can't remember the whole name to it, but
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was interesting because I don't know what the heck is going on still, and that's why I want to get that game.
Fair.
Ah,
That's fair
okay.
enough. So I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember which one that was. What was that? What was that called?
with the girl who was like exploring the world or something like that, and like
Yep, taking
uh
notes.
taking
Oh,
notes.
Season, a letter to the future.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That
Okay,
thing.
gotcha, gotcha. I need to look at that. I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
It
it's an interesting game. It's almost like with Kojima did with was it Death
actually,
Stranding.
yeah,
Like if
Death Stranding.
yeah, it feels like a lot of games are moving towards quest type, not just all about killing and stuff like that. Like now you get to use another side of your brain. I want more of that in the gaming industry.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
from what we saw, it's not a bad comparison to make. It's more of of a journey type game,
There you go.
getting to that destination rather than like, action combat. Hey, go kill these guys or whatever. And so it definitely interesting. It caught me off guard. I was like, "What is this, huh?" Again, personally, if it's on PlayStation Plus or something, you know what? I'll check it out. I'll add it to my queue or whatnot. But personally, I don't know if it's something I would go out and purchase. But
Right.
it's interesting.
And just to the friend that I know, if they listen to the show, I'm not saying that I was a fan of Death Stranding at all. I'm not a fan, but I
Should
appreciate what he was
should be.
trying to do.
It should be, man. It's a good game. Definitely a good
I'm
game.
about to say, man, you about to trigger a kid, man. Don't let him come after you because that was his game.
I was,
You know,
yeah, I'm
it's
sorry,
nice.
Isn't that
kid.
supposed to be? Isn't
Game.
that one of the games that's supposed to be part of the That's one of the games that's supposed to be part of the lineup, right? For the extra PlayStation Plus extra, I think.
I
I
think I
believe so.
remember the
Yeah.
trailer. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if that's the case, I might end up doing it just to give it a shot. I was kind of curious about it. I wasn't gonna really buy it, but I might give
Have
it a
you ever worked
shot
for
now.
UPS?
I mean, yeah, I get what you're going with that, but I mean, I still want to give it a shot just to see how, it has some interesting elements to it. I
Jeez,
was thinking
man.
about. I just gotta get my mind ready to go through all the cutscenes.
Oh, and I
You know,
don't think you can skip them.
but no, I think you can. I
I
mean,
probably
I
can.
I
I
didn't,
think.
think
but
the
I think
first
you
time
can.
you can't, right? Because that's how all his games were. At least I thought. Like the first time you can't skip it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I would get so engrossed in the cutscenes that I would sometimes forget I was playing a game and was watching a movie, and then next thing you know, the gameplay starts. I'm like, oh wait, what? Oh,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't
And I,
know.
and I will say, if I remember correctly from Death Stranding, it wasn't very cutscene heavy.
Oh,
Like there was cutscenes, and it was quite a bit of them, but it wasn't an extreme amount. And the ones we did get, they weren't like an hour long or something like that.
So
Uh,
so definitely not like Metal Gear Solid 4.
yeah, no,
Okay,
nowhere near that.
got
I
it.
would just think of more of a typical, maybe single player story, about that realm. It's not too crazy.
Word. Okay.
And single player games is what they chose to end it off on the state of play, which of course was Final Fantasy 16. And
That
boy, if you could have saw my face for that game.
that was the big
Um,
dog. That was the big one.
um, sorry, that
Left you
definitely,
speechless, man, for
definitely.
a minute, didn't it?
Sorry, somebody came in my room.
Oh no, you good. You
oh.
good. You good. You
Uh,
good.
Yeah, that game, it looked incredible. I was already hyped for it because I love Final Fantasy, and I like 15 and everything, and I was excited to see what they were going to do next with it. And I was hoping to kind of get some more information, and they definitely delivered with this. It looks incredible. The graphics look good. The story, not only does it look interesting, but I kind of was talking about this off the show. It's more gritty. It's more dark. It's more kind of medieval, which I definitely kind of liked. Um, the summons that they showed just looked incredible. Battling it out, I was just like, "Whoa, what is that, yo?"
Yeah.
It's it was amazing. It was amazing. I'm hyped if you couldn't tell.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
say,
maybe a
man,
little bit.
can you kind of tone it down some, man? You're about to jump to the mic with this description.
No, I can't.
Nah, but but since you mentioned the summons, that part I'm very curious about, like how that's going to play out. Because like we talked about off air. We were kind of going into like the possibility of maybe controlling the summons from
Yes.
what it looks like, because they were displaying. I think like we talked about, they were displaying like the health meters for
Yeah,
them
the
and stuff
health
like
bars
that.
and everything. Yeah.
So yeah, I was very curious about that because the animations look great, and of course, like the summons themselves always were a marvel to look at, but just the
Oh
idea
yeah.
of like controlling it and maybe having some different elements added to it is very interesting. Because I mean, so much so to the point where like this game wasn't so much on my radar like that, but from seeing that, I was like, you know what, I definitely need to check it out and see what's gonna happen.
Mm, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was definitely sold after I saw that. I was like, because I'm always a sucker for the summons, man. Those always been like, nah, that's my jam.
Yes, and some people might be disappointed. Maybe the more classic Final Fantasy fans. it does appear that they are continuing in the more action-oriented gameplay route, rather than the, traditional, turn-based. It does appear it's gonna be more kinda with the Kingdom Hearts, action-based combat system, which personally I'm a fan of, I don't mind.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I love turn based. I always did. But I mean, at this point, I'm understanding that that's just not going to be the route that they're going to really go for as much anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I had to just come to terms with it. In fact, that's what's kind of kept me from playing the Final Fantasy VII remake for so long because I just
Oh,
got so
man.
ingrained. Well, yeah, I know, and I know everybody, even including yourself, tells me how amazing it is. But it's just like I've been so ingrained with that turn based. The original Final Fantasy VII, like I play that game like
Yeah.
religiously. So I just have to kind of get my mind to break away from that and just to kind of go into that new style and just accept it. But I think, like I said, I still would give it a shot because, like I said, it looks really good. Animations look good. Obviously, graphics and visuals, everything. But the style of gameplay, this looks like it's could be pretty interesting, pretty good. So
Yeah, and we got a release window, which, of course, I was hoping it would be this year. Unfortunately, it's looking like it's gonna be releasing summer of next year, though.
yeah, it still ain't bad.
Yeah.
Ain't bad.
No.
So we got some stuff coming up in the meantime to keep us busy. So.
Yeah.
That
Let
we
them
do,
work
that
out
we
any
do.
bugs.
Yeah, we want that.
Yeah,
We definitely want them to do that. Absolutely.
yeah. Give me a complete and good game. Yes, 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 yes. I
Don't sound
know,
too
I
broken up about
know.
it.
You want a good game, but then you get impatient. You're like, but it looks good. I want it now.
Right, right. Yeah, that's understandable. Definitely understandable.
But all in all, I think it was a pretty good presentation. I think they did a really good job.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the reactions to it out on the internet landscape has been pretty positive.
Yeah, it's they you know didn't have a lot of fluff. They kind of show game after game. They a little bit of talking here and there, but for the most part, it was just gameplay after gameplay after gameplay, and I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I'll admit that's pretty effective how they do that. And I mean, not just them. I mean, like even with because I'm sure like Nintendo does that with the Direct. I don't watch a whole lot of them, so forgive me, Star. But I'm pretty sure like what they do show is usually direct and kind of get to like showing you the aspect of the games.
Yeah.
Or am I wrong about that? I mean, if I'm wrong, then just forget everything I said.
Oh no, no. The directs
I
was
just like
cool, but I like the tree houses a lot better. But they stopped the type of
ah,
tree houses format.
I got you. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but yeah,
you
just
absolutely. Mhm.
no, I'm saying yeah, but just direct to the point. I just think that's a winner instead of just kind of getting on stage and rattling on and on about stuff where people like, hey, just
Yeah,
show it already.
yeah. Like you don't talk about it. Just show me what you got.
Right.
But yeah, you are absolutely correct, VP. Nintendo usually for their Nintendo Directs kind of will go the same way. Maybe a little bit more talking. They'll usually bring out like the director or producer, and they'll talk a little bit. But usually it's just
Gotcha.
the gameplay. Pretty much in the same vein as the state of play. So I
Gotcha.
definitely like it.
Gotcha.
Definitely like it.
All right. Well, that's what's up.
And to kind of give a sneak peek of next week's episode, this coming weekend, we will be getting the Xbox and Bethesda showcase this coming Sunday. And so after they unveil that, we'll have some information to talk about next week. And this is a leak and a rumor, so Lord knows how true it is, but supposedly, I guess sometime like last year or something like that, Xbox was telling the studios that they were going to have this presentation and specifically to have gameplay ready to be shown off.
Hmm.
Um,
Ah, okay.
so a part of me is hoping that's true because I would love to see just give me gameplay. Trailers are nice. I enjoy a good trailer, but show
Mhm.
me gameplay, please. And so
Right.
I really kind of hope that is at least somewhat true, and that whatever they do show off this coming Sunday is a lot of gameplay behind it.
Yeah, I can see that happening given, the state now where everything's like slated next year, you know.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that yeah, we need to really kind of pick it up, guys, and show some major, hitters out there with complete with gameplay just to get people amped up and forget all about us not having nothing for this whole rest of the year. So
Well, and to kind of touch on that, it's actually interesting. Another leak that was talked about was, you know, we learned that Starfield is not coming out this year, but early next year. And
Right.
so the leak kind of mentioned, Avowed, the Obsidian new title, the new RPG that they're working on.
Hmm.
The leak mentioned that we could be getting that this year.
Oh, well, see, there
Um,
you go.
because supposedly it's been in production for about 5 years or so now. And it kind of would make sense that they would want to release it before Starfield. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you don't want that competing with Starfield, especially when they're going to be kind of similar games, in the same vein.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
But
I agree. That makes sense.
we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
definitely stay tuned so we can cover that.
Yeah. Well, fellas, what you guys think?
I would
Well,
say that. Oh, I'm
hmm.
sorry. You
No,
go,
I was gonna
VP.
say no, I was gonna say, yeah, if y'all wanted to jump in real quick for the worst and best, controllers or whatever.
Okay.
Oh man, see, I want to kind of get some food in my stomach, but
Hey man, it'll be quick, man.
it seems like every episode I keep saying that. So let me never say that again. Yeah, this keep going. Let's keep going.
Awesome. This is great.
All right. So
Uh,
you want to start with worst or best controller?
I mean, we can kind of. I don't know if you wanted to go around and all just each of us give our worst impression and then the best. I don't know. I didn't know how you want to do it, but I'll be more than happy to volunteer first with the worst and best if y'all want to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
do that route.
we'll follow your format.
Word. Okay. Well, good. Without further ado, I think the absolute worst controller, and Star's gonna kill me for this, but is the N64 controller. I absolutely hate that controller with a passion. I always have. I'll never forget the first time I saw it. I remember just thinking to myself, "What in God's name is this thing?" Like, were they serious? Like, why is the knob all the way down the bottom, and there's this big, gigantic landscape, this big old real estate in the middle of the control? Like, I don't understand. Like, am I supposed to put my hands here? Like, am I supposed to control it with the knob with my left hand down and my right hand with the buttons? But what if I want to use the directional pad? Because I wasn't really big on analogs too much. So I was like, hey, I like directional pads. So what am I forced to use the analog? I was just so many questions when I first saw it. I was just like, yeah, this is disappointing. It's very aggravating.
It was definitely an interesting design.
Mm. Yeah,
Definitely interesting.
it drove me crazy, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead, let me have a star. I know you wanna.
Oh no, I'll hold off. I'll hold off.
Oh
That's not
gosh,
good, man.
that's
That's not good.
scary.
You know
No,
what he
no,
said?
because no, he still hasn't yet said what was his favorite controller.
Well,
So I don't want to add. Yeah,
I'm a little scared, man. You sound like one of those people that's like, you expect for them to retaliate right then, and they're like, no, 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 no.
no.
Well, maybe sometime now, maybe later, maybe 2 years from now, I'll
Yeah,
get you
at least
then.
a
You know what I mean?
spectator.
Like I'm a little nervous now. Like I don't know if this should continue. But okay, well, real quick. So I guess it should be no surprise. My absolute favorite controller. I I'll have to give it to. I want to say the PS2. Honestly,
Okay.
yeah. I just
That.
want. I mean, I think because to be fair, all of them really haven't changed as much. I mean, except for the DualSense.
Yeah.
But um, the PS2, I think for me was it, man. Was it? Because I like the PlayStation 1, but you got to remember the original didn't have the analogs. That came later. So when PS2 came around, it was just like you just got that full deal right then and there. Like during the first release,
Uh
complete with
huh.
Rumble and everything. So to me, that was I don't know, just the feel of it, just how it just fit in that hand. It was just perfect. You know, it's just perfect position for where my hands rested and everything. It was just I don't know, it was great.
Okay.
It was
That's not a
a
bad
good
control.
controller. I just
Yeah,
had my one complaint back then when I first saw it was what is this? Like this is even the PS1, but I didn't really pay much attention to that. Sorry. It was the two.
Uh,
But that controller had the triangle and the circle and the square and the X. And at the time, I was like, why? Why did they went that route? But I
yeah,
now understand why they done it. It was like the yes and no, and it was subliminal suggestions that can stretch across cultural landscapes. Many people can pick it up and understand those symbols. So
yeah.
I understand it now, but when I was younger, I was like, that's so stupid.
Yeah, well,
dang.
to be fair, yeah, because I mean the ones before were always letters, so you're right.
Yeah.
It was like it was kind of like a little shock. to see that. But yeah, but I mean, you make a good point about how it's just more universally kind of accepted, or at least makes more sense universally.
Yep.
Yeah.
So so what about you? I mean, kid star, who's going next?
Oh,
Uh,
can I just do my rebuttal now so that I don't have to keep Brian?
Hey man, it's
BP,
your world.
sorry, BP rating.
It's your see. I already know you
hey man.
charged up because you called me by my name. You're like,
Oh man.
nah, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Throw
All
that
right.
rebuttal out there. I'm ready.
So here's the thing. If we're gonna go with the worst and best, the worst controller, in my opinion, was always the Xbox One, what they call the big boy controller.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
The heavy, bulky controller that apparently they had so many testers agree that it should be the one they should release on launch. I'm
yeah.
like,
I don't know how. I was always curious about the testers. Like that's one thing I did want to like find myself trying to get a hold of them. Like what? Why, guys? Like were y'all just tired that day?
I d I still don't know the logic behind making it that huge when they know that. Now, I'm not saying that this is a true graft of who plays games, but I would say a lot of teenagers and just smaller hand people should be their main target for a console, and then everybody else
Mm,
follows. But that game, that controller was made for a giant. It was not
yeah.
made for it wasn't made for normal human hands unless you
Yeah.
basically work with your hands throughout your life. And of course, you got the big Frank fingers or something. I don't know, but I could not get comfortable with that controller. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah,
So,
it was. I mean, we clowned on
Yeah.
that. I remember back working at GameStop, and we used to clown that controller so hard, man. It was just like, you don't get that little. I mean, that little, not little, but you don't get that big old gigantic boomerang away from me, man. Like, what is
yo,
this?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was just ridiculous.
it was horrible. Now,
So,
my favorite controller is two, so I can't decide between the two. I was trying my best, but I can't. So it was between the Nintendo, the N64 controller, which I thought was so revolutionary in the sense where you had a trigger. So it was technically you can use it as a gun. So when I saw that controller, I knew that the N64 was going to have a bunch of shooter games. I was like, yes, I'm looking forward to that. So that was just going back in memory. I was
uh-huh,
excited because of that controller. I didn't
gotcha.
even care that it was like one of the first 3D type games. You can see Mario in 3D. No, that controller grabbed my attention before anything else did. And the
Ah,
other controller was this Genesis 6 button controller with the shoulder buttons. I thought that
oh, I
was the
forgot
most
about that. Yes.
comfortable. It was the most comfortable controller to this day. I like nothing still comes close to that controller in my hand. It was a great controller. Um
Yeah, I remember that Genesis, man. That was a really good controller.
it was amazing. But that going back to you, BP, on how you gonna hate on this
Dang.
N64 controller, man. You know
You see how
that
his octave went up?
He was
Hey man,
ready.
listen, I just could not deal with it, man, because I was like, why does my like I just wasn't a fan because I just felt like my hands had to continually shift. And it felt like half the time I was confused playing games. I was like, should I have my hands this point, this way? It was just, and then the C button that was broken off into four separate buttons.
let me
That
tell you.
drove me crazy, man. I was like, what is going on?
It was so smart of a design for 3D gaming on a console. The fact that you needed that joystick to be able to move Mario around in the actual open field, well, open environment, it worked perfectly. And you can use it like the way you can place your hands around that controller. It can be used in so many different ways. It made it to where it was very flexible, so you can make many games without having to sell more peripherals so that it matches the gameplay. This controller works with everything. I just thought with the rumble pack and the trigger and the actual, I think it was called the season, not the, I can't remember, but technically you target your enemies in the game. One of the first times ever done in the Zelda game that you can use I think it was called the Z target button.
Mm.
It was just everything about the controller and how it works in the games. It was just flawless. So I can see how you didn't like it because it was designed funny, but it had to be designed that way, and they designed it so that even if it was awkward, it still worked, and it worked, in my opinion, worked perfectly. But I can see why you didn't like it. So I loved it.
Yeah, man. I mean, no, look, I had friends that liked it too. Obviously, like they were, all about it, man. But I was just like, it was like, first of all, this thing is so ugly to look at for me. To be fair, I was just used to a different format of controls that we've kind of gotten used to over the years. So them just doing this big old
But
shift in the controller
again,
just threw me off completely.
you gotta remember, it was because it was one of the first consoles to do 3D gaming, so you couldn't use those other controllers to move around in your environment because the other controllers they had the actual joysticks
Hey
like
man, I
the
beg to
N64
differ.
did.
You give me a adapter to like a SNES controller. I'm sure I can make it happen.
Nice,
Because I know
nice.
I know how to adapt the blasted GameCube controller because I hated that too. I was
Oh,
like,
that
ugh,
controller. Now I
I
have
hated
some
that.
bad stories with that one, but
Oh man.
it ended up being decent, but it
Man,
was not.
let me tell you how bad it was. I bought the GameCube, looked at that controller, and said nope, and tossed it away. And then I just
Yikes.
got like a adapter so I could hook my PS2 controller to it.
That's
It was so
Yikes.
terrible.
confusing. It was mad confusing with the button layout, but that's how much I hated it. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't care.
Mm.
Jesus Christ, man, that's
Yeah, it was.
ridiculous.
I
So
get it
yeah,
though. I get it.
do you, man? I don't know. I'm glad it
Doesn't
worked
sound
out
like
for
it.
you, man. But for me, it just felt like something that should go on the end of like Batman's grappling hook or something in 64
Well,
controller.
that would have been maybe PlayStation's original prototype for their controller. That boomerang controller that should have been on Batman's belt because they released the photos of that thing. That
Right,
was
yeah, no,
horrible.
she's talking about, nah, I'm not even gonna hate on that, man. Yeah, that was just good comeback there. What about you, kid, man? Let's not forget about kid over here. What about you?
Um, I guess if I had to say like worst controller to me, uh, and to be fair, I didn't really use it, but just the overall design and look of it, that Steam controller that came out a couple years
Oh
ago.
yeah, the touchpads instead of actual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like,
I need to look at
and
this, man. Hold up.
Oh,
I don't think I've seen that yet.
they weren't cheap either. Those things were. I forgot the price, but they were very expensive.
You said it was a Steam Touch controller?
I know it's called the Steam controller. I don't remember if Touch was in the name or
Oh,
not.
Steam controller. Oh, I think I'm seeing it right here. Does it have like a big old circle like on the right side of it?
There's two
The
circle
touchpad
pads.
or whatever.
Well, because it's a circle with a D pad in the middle of it for the left side, and then the right side looks like this big gigantic circle looking thing. I don't even know what that is.
That would probably the touchpad. Let me look up a picture. Hold on. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are two. Yeah, there's two touchpads on the top.
Yikes.
I never played it, so I don't know exactly how
Yeah,
it worked or felt, but it was weird to do touchpads for a D-pad. 'Cause that was still a touchpad.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
I'm sorry. I had to see what y'all were talking about, but yeah. Yikes.
Well,
yeah.
someone's selling it online. Anybody went for Amazon for $220.
Sure, man. I'll get right on it.
Jeez, man.
That's crazy. So,
Um,
but what
yeah,
So what just was it? You said it just the design just drove you crazy.
yeah. It just looked weird, and I don't know. I just never thought that it was all that nice looking. I don't know. Just always caught me off guard. I was like, I'm okay.
Yeah,
And
man, hit it with the okay. I got you.
uh,
Here's
and
I.
yeah, and kind of what you guys mentioned earlier, the original Xbox controller, like that big daddy one. I was like, I always thought like, why is this so massive? Because we used to have one,
Right.
and I was a kid at this point. I'm like, dude, this thing is huge. Why?
Yeah, that's what's so crazy, man. It's like I just didn't get it.
Yeah, man,
Um,
it could be used as a weapon.
It weighed
mm,
enough for you to
Shoot.
seriously not somebody out with that thing.
yeah, you could do some damage with that bad boy.
Oh yeah,
I would be afraid.
right. I feel bad for the people who get mad and throw the controls at the TV or something, man. Probably leave a big
Oh,
old hole in it.
Jeez.
Take
and
out half the TV.
this is those TVs that back then was the projection TV. So that screen was just glass. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
that
yeah.
would
So
not be good. Uh,
what was your top like your favorite controller or controllers?
honestly, I think the perfect fit was the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One controllers.
Mm.
Like,
Okay.
I just feel like both of them were just they were good controllers, they weren't too bulky, they weren't uncomfortable, they weren't extra, they didn't have these gimmicks or weird, silly things, like, it just they were good controllers. They're both comfortable in your hands. They're decently sized. Especially a lot of nowadays, the Xbox Design Labs, you could design your own controller color scheme and design and stuff like that. And PlayStation has a bunch of different designs and colors out there. I think both of those controllers were just great controllers. They got the job done.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. They actually, that's Xbox kinda it was fair to say they got in the groove of the controller and,
They
you know
stuck with it.
yeah. So I
That
think that
design
that's very
is
fair.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
hmm,
True, true, true.
Nothing
Uh,
against the PlayStation 5 controller. I mean, it looked awkward at first, but
not a fan.
honestly, oh god.
that he said that quick too.
I was afraid of how big it looked, but honestly, using it, it's not that bad. I think it's perfectly acceptable. It does have additional features. The built-in mic, it's cool. Never use it. You know, the haptic feedback on the triggers, it's cool, but again, it depends on developers and if they use it.
Yeah, that's
To be
true.
honest, not a
Mhm.
lot of developers use it.
Not
No.
really, I mean, yeah, and to your credit, like, I think only a couple games I played where I'm like, it feels pretty nice, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's not to me, not too revolutionary. So,
No, and
good
they
point.
was trying to sell that gimmick, and I was like, "No, what? I need to try that controller. I need to see what this feels like." And then I got it, and I was like, "It's irritating." I was playing, I was, I was playing that free game. I can't even know remember the name with the little robots.
Oh,
Oh,
I know you're
Astro
talking about
Playroom.
Astro. Yes, right.
Yeah, I hate the way
Playground.
the resistance and those controllers get sometimes. It was almost like it triggered my anxiety. I don't know why.
Jeez, okay, alright.
It's weird. I like don't use it. Any good developer, you don't. I mean, give us an option to turn it off. I guess.
I thought there was a way to do that, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I know Resident Evil Village had an option to turn it off.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
cool,
I
cool.
would imagine most games probably do have the option kinda baked in somewhere. You just have to kinda check out the settings or whatnot. But
Yeah, because I don't
yeah.
think it belongs in every game, to be honest with you. Not certain ones anyway. So
Because the
No, no.
driving game to have that moving around all the time, that's nah, no, I'm good.
Jeez, man.
So,
Now a
yeah, so
gun, I could see a gun using that. There's a that feedback might make sense for a weapon, but just not for everything.
you mentioning a gun brings me back, man, to, like, using guns in games, man. Like, God, you never think that'll
Yeah,
come back?
that's a bad topic at this moment to
It is,
discuss.
because I know we'll go too
Yeah,
far into it, but yeah, you just made me
yeah,
reminisce, man, like Duck
yeah,
Hunt and just games back then, like Time Crisis, where it
yeah,
actually used guns and stuff for the rails, like playing those
yeah.
shooters.
Correct. Well, the technology wasn't even all that complicated back then for those weapons. But
Nah, it was
what
just
can it?
fun, man.
I would say, what can they even do today that would just bring back that nostalgicness, but with today's actual technology?
I
Like,
don't know, man. I don't know. And honestly, I'm too hungry to really think too much about it anyway. I know
Nice,
you are, so.
nice. See?
and also
There
they
you
said
go.
the remotes were pretty daggone cool too. But that's not
Oh,
even.
you said a Wii remote?
Yes,
See, I was
yes.
gonna say that honorable mention was the Wii remote. And dishonorable mention would be the PlayStation Move controller. But
Oh
well,
goodness, those
yeah,
were yeah. We would talk more.
man.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get our dinner together, and I can jump on my game. Yeah, let's go ahead and
Yeah. Yeah. But
don't unpack.
but to the audience out there, to y'all, like, just let us know. What was y'all favorite controller or worst controller ever? Just let us know, just
Do
kind of
you
give
agree with
your
any
thoughts
of
on it.
us, or do you hate us for our opinions? Just let us know
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, come at me. I welcome all people N64 controller fans to come after me, man. I understand it. I deserve it. Do your worst. It's okay.
Jeez, alrighty then. Trying to incite violence on the show. I see you.
Yeah, well,
Yikes!
man, you say things like that, you got to be ready.
We're exciting love. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll call it that.
well, all right then.
So I guess that's it.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys listening and checking us out as always. Definitely
Oh yeah.
definitely much appreciated.
Yep. Definitely leave feedback for us, information to reach us, the social media accounts and everything. Be in the show notes or summary like usual. And until then, we'll catch y'all next time.
Stay safe.
Hey, let's get it.
Peace.